First week of August, new fragrances, right? Some exciting stuff coming out. Lots and lots of Middle Easterns, right? So recently the Middle Eastern houses are just pushing, stuff out. So great for them, they're really, like I was reading an article the other day from like sometime last year or early this year that was talking about, is the Middle East becoming the fragrance capital of the world, something like that. So looking at the way the brands are doing things, it's very interesting, right? So first up on my list, from a line of fragrances that we haven't had anything from in a long time, from the Bleu de Chanel line, we now have L'Exclusive, right? So the Bleu de Chanel, the popular king of the blues verse, Mr. Versatile, Mr. Everyday, lots of love and, adoration for that fragrance, that Bleu de Chanel, right? So exclusive notes here are amber, woody notes, lavender, sandalwood, and yeah, that's just how they put them out there, right? So yeah, it's been a while, right? It's been a while, so yeah, better late than never. The Bleu de Chanel line is alive again, right? And the next one from the house of Rayhaan, right? I think the last video in the month of July, there was also a Rayhaan there. There's just always been a Rayhaan being released. So they're really pushing a lot there from the house of Rayhaan. So this one is Adonis Icarus, right? Adonis Icarus has something to do with Greek mythology, something like that, right? So top notes here: mandarin, bergamot, orange, so citrusy up top, and then you've got the spiciness in the heart with ginger, neroli, and pink pepper, very spicy, so citrusy, spicy, and then you've got vetiver, ambergris, and musk in the base, right? So this brand always pushes out great value for money fragrances, right? So next up, from the line of 4 fragrances that have just been released, they are aptly named Christian Provenzano. So Christian Provenzano, I had to quickly do some Googling research here. So Christian Provenzano is a renowned master perfumer recognized for his significant contribution to the fragrance industry and his role as global partner, global director of perfumery at CPL Aromas, right? So this is a big shot, right? So you see what the Middle Easterns are doing, right? They are getting in those big name perfumers to start headlining some of their fragrance releases, right? So from this line of fragrances, it's 1 to 4 essentially. Christian Provenzano 1 to 4, right? So 1, top notes saffron and rose, middle fruity notes and leather, and then leather. So this one is a saffrony leather type of fragrance. The next one, Christian Provenzano number 2, fruity notes, passion fruit, saffron, and rose, and then you've got benzoin, oud, and then leather, amber, patchouli. So this one, I think it's a more oody type of fragrance, right? Just looking at notes that would dominate here. And then number 3, pink pepper, tangerine, bergamot, and neroli at the top, cedarwood, apple, and rose in the mid, and then you've got a base of white musk, cinnamon, and vetiver, right? And then number 4, bergamot, orange, lemon, and pink pepper, similar to the other one, but not really the same lineup. But yeah, citrusy, lemony, and then the bit of the spice there. Then the mid, you got ylang ylang, tuberose, and fruits, so very flowery, fruity. And then the base, you've got woodsy notes, patchouli, amber, musk, and vanilla, right? So yeah, that's 4 fragrances from the house of Armaf, by the perfumer Christian Provenzano, right? So I see what the Middle Eastern fragrance houses are doing, right? Yeah, so they're bringing in the big name, brand, legitimate perfumers that have always been, doing perfumery for the big houses out there, and they are bringing them in to say, we've got enough money to pay and put your name on a bottle and for you to curate something for us, right? Next, a bunch of fragrances, 2 from Lattafa. First, Abiyedh Scarlet, right? So top notes, orange, bergamot, and then pear, vanilla, musk, and amber, right? So very fruity, very sweet, this one. I'm not sure if it leans more to what's female than male, but it's listed as unisex, but something sweet, something fruity. That's what it is, right? And then the next one from Lattafa also, Dynasty, right? So Dynasty, bergamot, ginger, raspberry, clary sage, and nutmeg. So fresh, fruity, spicy at the top. Also herbally. And then you've got rooibos tea and suede, right? Rooibos tea is a South African tea, of course, grown in South Africa, right? And then the base, you've got cashmere, amberwood, and cedarwood, right? So you've got the woods there. So that's Lattafa Dynasty, right? I love the bottle. Love it, right? And then the next one from another Middle Eastern clone house, brand house, right? Middle Eastern perfume brand house. Afnan 9 p.m. Elixar, right? So the last one I remember that was released out of the 9 p.m. line was a Rebel, right? I think it was a Rebel. Right? So another one that's also really pushing out, right? Afnan is the 9 p.m. line. They've really added a lot of fragrances to that line, right? So top notes here: cardamom, nutmeg, and alumi. And then you've got pimento, lavender, and leather in the mid. And then vanilla, patchouli, labdanum, and rock rose in the base, right? So not really sure what kind of scent this would give with that leather in the mid and the vanilla in the base, but definitely with checking out. The elixirs are usually quite good from most of the brands, right? So I've got a couple myself and I really enjoy it. I don't know why they just call it elixir. It's a trend, right? I must say it's a trend. Every fragrance house wants to have an elixir in one of their fragrance lines, right? And then last but not least, the king of fragrances, the king of niche fragrances, by Killian's Angel Share on the rocks. So this is a flanker of Angel Share and it's on the rocks, right? So this is one of my favorite fragrances. Haven't yet bought it as yet, but I recommend it to anyone who can afford it whenever I can. Top notes here for On the Rocks are aldehydes, bitter orange, grapefruit, isocode, Italian bergamot, and lemon. So obviously for that icy effect, you've got these citrusy, fruity notes at the top. And then the heart, you've got amber, and that classic cognac, and then Laotian cinnamon, Venezuelan tonka bean absolute. And then the base, you just have oak wood absolute, right? So yeah, that's the list for the month of August. Not the month of August, but the first week of August, the first 2 weeks of August, I would say. And it's looking good. I think things are picking up. Lots and lots of fragrance releases coming up. So looking forward to it for sure. Right? So yeah, with that said, please like, subscribe. Till next time, peace, over and out, my fragrance journey.